Welcome back, dear student. Let's start with a new lesson, the third level, which I have taken from the Vistas, written by Jack Finney. And before starting, he has thrown a very simple clue to us that have you ever did that in your life, and have you experienced, such thing which made it difficult to believe for other? Have you done and have you make any incredulous the progress, incredulous things, and कोई ऐसी चीज आपने experience की है life में which becomes so difficult to believe for others? Yeah, yeah. This lesson is about like that, and this is the story about one such person who really has done something different, so it becomes difficult to believe for the others. Believe, difficult to believe, है ना? ये believe करना मुश्किल हो जाता है यहाँ पे दूसरों को. How? The president of the New York, the New Haven, the New Hartford could take a swear on the stack of the timetable of that Grand Central Station that there are only two level at the Grand Central Station. But author said that no, there are not two. Actually, there are three level at the Grand Central Station because I have been there. And among others, he had told his psychiatrist friend that he had been there. He had seen third level at the Grand Central Stations. He said that you are unhappy with the modern world because you thought that modern world is insecure. There is there a fear, there is a tension, so you want to escape from that tension, escape from the reality. It is your imagination, it is your you know the waking जो एक तरह का होता है ना, विश फुलफिलमेंट ड्रीम, कि भी आपने जागते हुए एक सपना देखा है जिसको आप सच मान रहे हो, एंड दिस इज द काइंड ऑफ दैट. You cannot escape from the reality. You are living in a modern world and you cannot go beyond that far. All right, you can take refuge, the temporary refuge in the stamp collection also. It was the collection that, although started by author's granddad to him, as he had heard that. Author here said that when I said the two psychiatrist friend, he said that I'm unhappy, I'm scared of, I'm fed up with the modern world. Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't want to escape? Everybody want to escape. Yeah, it is different thing that no one can and everyone cannot wander down accidentally to the third level at the Grand Center stations. I can escape from the reality. I can take a temporary refuge in the stamp collection, which has started my granddad. But they had not need to escape from the reality. To need actually, they had not need to escape from the reality because their time was so good. In America, every citizens are used to do, and they are used to do all these things. The President Roosevelt also do the same. He also used to collecting the stamp. So here, author said that I'm very ordinary person. I'm very simple guy. My name is Charlie, and I'm 31 year old, and I was not trying to do anything else. And one day, when I was very late, just to go up to my apartment, to my house, because I was in the office for a late time. So I was so hurried to get up to my house. So I decided to take subway from the central stations, and because the subway was faster than the bus. And when I get into the first level, actually at the central station, I was when I crossing and I was facing many peoples like that of me. I was not trying to escaping from anything else, and my intention was not to escape from the reality at that time. And when I get into the first level, there you could see that you can take the train like that of 20th century. As when you get into the second level, the trains leaves from the suburban area, the outer part of the towns. All right, and the same thing I was doing. I was just get into the accidentally I got into the second level because there are the identical corridors, identical staircases. So I just get into that the second one, and there I got lost my way and get out in a long and in a mile long tunnels. And having been there, I got out in the lobby of होटल रूजवेल्ट. एंड another time I come out in the office building. एक ऑफिस बिल्डिंग में बाहर आता हूँ. That was in the 46th street, 3 blocks away. And just going into that, the corridor I was begin to saw the angling left slanting downward. I heard some voice, and sometime there was some hollow sound that was a kind of empty sound coming from my own footsteps. And then I just take some of the flights of stairs and went downward and get out in the third level at the Grand Central Stations, where I could see something different. There was a wooden the cabin, and inside the cabin there was a man who had put on green eye shades, and there was the dim light which was flickering, which was so much on and off shine of that open gas light. क्योंकि वो I understood that what was that and why that was flickering. क्योंकि वो खुली गैस की एक ज्वाला थी, that was वहाँ जो जल रही थी. I noticed the spittoons on the floor. I noticed the person that was coming through the gate, and I noticed that what kind of cloth they had put on. It was just different than the present time. I was just facing something different than the present one. I saw the woman who came through the entrance of the train gate. She had both the cloth that was like that of वो the sheep होती है ना, एक sheep के कपड़ों की तरह. मीन्स उसके नीचे कहाँ तक ऊन होते हैं, just above her foot, वहां तक, just at the top of the shoes. Okay, वहां तक उसका स्कर्ट नीचे था. And as far as concerned with the sleeve, it was fully like that of sheep again. And I had never seen such a long, weird, such a wavy and such a handlebar like the mustache in my life. So I was imagining, and back at the track, and I could see the ivies in the locomotive funnel-shaped stack, which gave me, which was giving me an impressions that I was in 1890. And to making it ensure, I went to the paper boy, and there was a paper at his feet, to make it ensure that am I really in the 1890. There was a paper, The World, which has not been published for many years, and it was saying something. The main story was saying something about the President Cleveland, and President Cleveland was president of USA at that time. It was printed in July 1894. So I come back to the ticket counter where I wanted two tickets for the USA, wherever I wanted to go, especially that of Galesburg, Illinois. He wanted 2 tickets for his wife and for himself. He said that, have you been there? आप कभी Galesburg, Illinois गए हो? This is a place where, and where I could see, and we could see the big house, big frames, old houses, the big lawns, the tall trees which whose branches were meeting overhead, and a roof. They made the roof over the street. They roofed the street, actually, I would say. ऊपर वो एक तरह का क्या बोलते, छत बना देते हैं उन गलियों के ऊपर. It's really very beautiful place. So he wanted two tickets for his wife and for himself, and he want to, because there are 20 years for the First World War and 40 years to the Second World War, and he want to see it. मतलब सी देखिए ऑथर यहाँ पे पहला विश्व युद्ध भी देखना है, दूसरा विश्व युद्ध भी देखना है, इसके लिए इसको टिकट चाहिए. So the bike had the ticket counter, and he was just calculating his fare, and he was the figuring, and the clerk also were doing the same. And when he said, he gazed his the bill and his notes and his currency, and he was surprised. While clerk was indicating, while the clerk was the staring and when gazing him with such sight, भी इस तरह से वो मानो देख रहा था कि भी एक तरह की surprised that what is this? So, Mister, this is not money. What are you doing? If you think that you can skin us, you cannot go far away. And then he saw at the ticket and the draws, the money draws, where the money was different in style, different in look, and different in size. Old currency was bigger in size, the present was smaller in size. It was different in look. So as soon as he conceived that, he run away from there as soon as possible he could do, from the same way as he had get in, because jails was so not so good in 1894. From the very next day, he brought all his $300 out of his the bank, and brought its 200. Actually, because to buying the old currency, one have to pay the premium, one have to pay the extra rate, extra the penny in a normal rate. क्योंकि अगर आपको पुरानी करेंसी खरीदनी है तो यू हैव टू पे द मोर देन द नॉर्मल रेट्स. सो ये जो पैसे 300 डॉलर की 200 से भी कम करेंसी, ओल्ड करेंसी उसकी आई थी. सो ही again tried to find out the third level of the Grand Central Station, but he couldn't find anymore. In the meantime, he got the news that Sam was disappeared. His psychiatrist friend was disappeared somewhere. He was unable to find out, but he had a doubt that he might have discovered the third level of the Grand Central Station, and he might have gone there. He might have gone the Galesburg, Illinois, because he always used to, talk about this place, and he was so much fancied about the Galesburg, Illinois. He must have gone there. So, having been that all these things, he gone back to his the first day cover and his stamp collections. One day when he was fusing with his first day cover, he found something there. He found something startling there. And before this, we must talk about what are these first day covers. First day covers are those kind of covers that whenever the government issue any tickets, any डाक ticket होता है, एक stamp होता है, and that very first day of the sale, stamp collector buy that stamp and issued it ऑन द एनवलप. एक वो करते क्या है कि एक लिफाफा खरीदेंगे, वो स्टैम्प जो है उसको खरीदेंगे, एंड देन दे विल मेल्ड थ्रू द, वो मेल करेंगे टू देम सेल्फ, अपने आप को ही उसको मेल करेंगे. एंड द पोस्ट मार्क है मीन्स को जो उसके ऊपर जो सील लगती है, दैट प्रूव द डेट विच बिकम्स द फर्स्ट डे कवर. Okay, one day when he was fusing with this first day cover, he found something startling in there, and he found that someone had mailed to granddad from Galesburg, Illinois, and it was there. Although it shouldn't be there. Oh, hona nahi chahiye. It should not have been there, but actually it was there, and it was the letter that has been written. And one more important thing about the first day cover, when you the mailed an envelope to themselves and to oneself, so you put blank paper inside the envelope. But here in this first day cover, what was the startling, what was the surprising thing was that it was not blank. Although it shouldn't be there, money hona chahiye tha, because presently they are living in the New York, and it was addressed with Galesburg, Illinois, which was granddad's old address. And he thought that he might have been there when it had been come कि जब वो आया होगा, and it gone straight to his granddad's collections, and the stay there until we found out, and until we get in touch with it. So inside this first day cover was not blank, it was something. It was the letter written by Sam, and Sam said that Sam is really beautiful place, and I'm here with the other peoples, so it's really worth discovering. So keep उनको बोलता है कि आप जो सर्चिंग कीप कंटिन्यू योर सर्चिंग until you find the third level of the Grand Central Station, because I'm here and it's really beautiful place. Your psychiatrist friend Sam, who was telling him that I have found the third level of the Grand Central Stations, and you should keep your searching continue until you found it. And the very next day and afterward, he found out that the Sam had brought $800 old currency by which he wanted to start the business of hay feed and the grain business. He used to talk about this, and he said that he had said and he had told that he wanted to start the business of that kind. But now here in the Galesburg in 1894, it is useless. You cannot come back in this profession, my psychiatrist friend. Now, what is important to know here? Actually, this is the story that the Charlie, the author, has created in his mind. This is his fancy, his fantasy, and his imagination that he has been doing. And he is experiencing the third level of the Grand Central Station, which is his imagination actually. And not only that, but also his psychiatrist friend, which he evolved in this. उसने उसको भी यहाँ इवॉल्व कर दिया and just try to make the impression that it really happened. Although it is just the fantasy, it is the imagination. Okay, it's a fancy. There was no third level at all. He was really fed up with the real world. I want to escape from the reality, because he thought, that motherboard is really the kind of insecure place to live in. Although there are many things in which you can take shelter, which you can where you can spend your time. You can take it a hobby, like stamp collections को एक hobby के रूप में, where you can spend your time. If you think that I'm unable to cope with the modern time, as there is a depression of any kind, so you can take temporary refuge, temporary shelter in that stamp collections. You can do some painting कर सकते हो आप, और डांस कर सकते हो, रीडिंग कर सकते हो, राइटिंग कर सकते हो. This kind of hobby you can adopt. But here he get into that part, the beyond far. वो एक सुदूर अनंत हिस्से में वो कहीं जा रहा है, and that is imagination. And having been here in the present time, and he is trying to experience the past one, and there is a bifurcation, intersection of time and space actually. And living in the present time, you are experiencing the past one, 1890 को आप जी रहे हो. All right, and that's it. That was your chapter number the first, so the lesson number 1, the third level. Yes, it was difficult to believe for us. You must have done, आपने किया होगा extraordinary काम, but it find very difficult to believe for others. The same here, as he is saying here that I have been there at the third level at the Grand Central Station, which is actually not in existence. All right,